Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into another Tuesday night edition of your favorite Purdue podcast. Did I say podcast? Podcast? I mean, we got the dad.
Love
bods
me a
here,
good boiler podcast.
Boiler podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
Well, this is off the rails
All right, hey.
already.
We didn't get to the sponsors, so yeah. But anyways, Martin Vintage right there above Chris. I want to thank them for sponsoring the show, sending us some cool threads. Go check them out. Use the code BXP at checkout for 10% off. Follow them on social so you can see all the new cool stuff that they're putting out that isn't always actually new. It's a lot of retro stuff and old school logos and things. So if you're into that kind of stuff,
Dude, I
and
love the
comfortable
retro
shirts,
stuff.
go check them out. And CBB Analytics, also our most recent sponsor. They got all the stats over there, where players rank, percentile, where my sound sounds a little bit different. What's up, Cody? What's up?
See,
Cody?
Russ, that's in private chat. You're not supposed to say it live on the podcast. God.
I don't know, Russ. You did something, and now your sound sounds a little bit different.
Is it worse or better?
Russ having
It's
technical
good. It's
issues?
good now.
Why?
I know,
I
right?
never.
It's just
been a while.
different. You sound different. You know.
Still
All right,
handsome,
well,
though.
I'll get to the sponsors and then we'll work on
Oh,
it.
there,
Somebody
when
else
you
can
did
talk.
that, it sounded good. Just do
Oh,
the
Yeah, I
whole
think it's
podcast.
because it's pointed at an angle now, so that's the direction. Like,
Wacky, wavy inflatable arm.
How's
I
this?
bet most podcasts
this?
do this before the
Perfect.
show. We do it during the show. 'Cause
Yeah,
Okay.
we want a
Professional.
full immersion of our shit show that we call the
Ultimate
podcast.
Boiler. That sounds
Oh,
familiar.
man.
Yeah, who's that guy?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
How you Damon? What?
So anyways, as I was saying,
What?
CBB Analytics, go
What?
check them out. All sorts of cool stats over there.
What?
They hooked us up with a Premier membership, but you can get a free
What?
membership to just look at Purdue stats. Go check that out. And then Cincy Blitzboards, check out at Cincy Blitzboards on Twitter. They got all sorts of cool designs over there. They'll work with you on any design on their Blitzboard. I got one behind me.
Unless
Dylan's
you try
back
to
in
get
his
them to
normal
put
spot.
an AARP on Russ's and they don't do it.
Hey, that's because they're loyal.
Copyright.
Loyal. So
It's copyright.
they got your back, even if people try
We
to
know they
influence
don't
them.
care about copyright.
You know, if you order a Bengals Blitzboard, they're not going to send you a Ravens one. They're going to hook you up. So they're going to take care of you.
The Ravens.
But yeah, we got 4 of the 5 tonight. As you saw, Ultimate Boilers commenting, so he's taking care of some sickness. So thoughts and prayers with him. Hope they get feeling better soon. I got Chris above me. I got Frank. I got Dylan. How you guys doing? Somebody else talk.
What?
I'm gonna fix my mic.
I'm back from
Fuck.
Florida. It's cold up here, and it's about to storm all to hell. Apparently, did you guys see the storm already? Has it passed you?
we had storms last night.
Oh,
We haven't
Fun.
gotten anything around here yet. I think it's supposed to be around 11. It's supposed to be pretty gnarly, but not as bad as I originally thought.
Oh, good.
Everything
Now the
that's down in your area was
Yeah.
supposed to be up by us. But also
that's-
at the same time, if it adjusts south even 20 miles, then it's going to be a problem for us. So
Also, I haven't been following like the Weather Channel or anything like that. I've strictly been following James Knows Ball because he's been posting weather updates, and they're
I've seen
very,
that.
very helpful. So, Shad, not only is he funny, but he's a weather aficionado. DK, it's going to hit our area at about 2 a.m. Oh, good. I'll be asleep. I sleep through that shit, dude. It doesn't wake
Oh,
me
I
up.
love it. Open
Uh,
window.
Open window. That's kind of diabolical, but
Diabolical.
so,
Why?
lightning. I
Yeah,
had a
because it's going to sneak through the window. What the hell are you
I had
doing?
a roommate that lived with me when we were like early 20s, and it was
So like a couple days ago?
yeah, really. And it snowed like 4 inches one night, and I went somewhere and I pulled into like the front of her house, and his feet are hanging. His bed was on the floor. This is how
Love it.
bachelor we were. Mattress on the floor, feet sticking out of the window, and he had like a half inch of snow accumulating on his feet.
I truly love everything about that story, and I need to meet this human.
Oh gosh, Drake! Shout out to Drake. He's a good guy. Good guy. Engineer now.
So, Dylan, do you have a hockey update for us this week?
Oh yeah, they're going to nationals. They won their conference championship, which I think I brought up last week. I don't know when the nationals start.
They released the schedule today. I
Yeah, I
want
believe
to
it's in March.
say
It's in March
Yeah.
sometime.
It is
yeah.
in March.
I
you're
want
right.
to say March 7th.
And they have 3 teams. Montana. No, I don't know who they are. Gosh darn it.
Dude,
Tuning into some great weather.
So
talk.
Yes,
close. I
sir.
think it's Missouri, not Montana. Close. In M State. You're
Ooh,
right.
in M State. I was close. Same
letters are
thing,
hard.
really, when you think about it. They're still. Oh wait, no. I think the gold
Yes.
jersey sale ends today.
Damn it.
You can still. I'll get you hooked up. Stu's here.
Hi, Stu.
Stu. And last but not least, yeah, boy. What's up, Stu? Miss you, you handsome son of a gun. So
Yeah,
today
hook me
I
up, Dylan.
midnight tonight. You may still be to order by like midnight tonight, I think. I don't know. If not, I'll get you.
Ooh,
hooked up.
nice.
Okay, so I got the schedule. It's in St. Louis. So if you guys are close to St. Louis, go check out some Purdue hockey. But on March 7th, they play Florida Gulf Coast, which that's a school you wouldn't think of having a hockey program, but they play Florida Gulf Coast, who is actually the 6th seed. Then they play Grand Valley on the 8th, who's the 3 seed, and then Missouri State on the 14th, or on the 9th, it's the 14th seed.
Ooh,
And Purdue is
And-
the 11th seed. Obviously,
they're
you
the
can figure that
11th.
out. So, yep.
Ooh, Salic. Oh,
love to see it.
well,
coming in.
Matt's here. Handsome son of a gun, that Matt. Sale extended to Friday. So, Chris, you
Nice.
have time.
Nice.
And everyone else, you have time.
Yep.
You can get a great Stu. Get yourself a nice Schweigert number 9 jersey in a hockey form,
Dude, that hockey jersey is one of the cleanest hockey jerseys I've seen.
especially when you have the double 3s on the back.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
I don't know
great.
what I'll go with, but I'll definitely I'll get some.
5-0 Ghost would look dope on the back of a jersey.
I don't know, man. Yeah,
Did
probably.
you guys see Stu's comment? He's going to be at the game on Saturday.
Nice.
Hey, let's go, Stu.
My
Let's
wife's
go.
looking for tickets to that game as a birthday present.
Yeah,
Well,
that'll be a
that's
good
not
one.
surprise.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah, so if you haven't paid attention this week, Purdue will be playing for at least a share of the Big Ten title on Saturday against our newest rival, our actual rival, not that team down south in Indiana, but Michigan
Nice.
State. Get
Stu's
to take
got
on
everything.
Izzo, the Fighting Izzos. We only play them once. This is the one time we play them. And we'll know Illinois plays Wednesday, and they play before us on Saturday. So if they lose one of those games, we will know that we're playing for an outright title on Saturday night.
Sorry,
Or if
my
they lose
dog's
both of
eating
them,
something.
we've already got the outright title. So
Got a comment here from Cody. The Mrs. and I are going to be at the Lady Boilers game tomorrow.
Cody,
Nice.
are we
Awesome,
still
Cody.
invited to your wedding? Are we?
Is that still a thing?
I'm
You
going.
say that every week, Dylan.
Dude, I'm down.
I
every
need
week.
updates.
Just crash
Yeah.
the absolute shit out of his
Oh,
wedding.
he's gonna regret it so quick. People are gonna be like,
Ugh.
"Who are these stooges?"
Yeah, these
We're
degenerates.
with the groom, and he's gonna be like, "No, they're not. I
No.
regret it."
No, they walked in here. They weren't invited.
Someone call 911.
Yeah. Call the cops.
Pretty sure I can't officiate weddings. I get stage fright, which
I
is
can't
funny.
talk in front of people.
Well, see, but it's different on here because it's just us shooting the shit. We don't
Right.
physically see all the people, all the tens of people that watch, and so it doesn't really.
You want to see the
affect you.
funniest thing in the world for me? Like, I'm on here, like, joking around, blah, blah, blah. Watch me in a jury trial. I freak out. I'm like, I can't talk.
He did it.
Yeah. I can't damn mashed potatoes.
can we actually do that? Can we just like sneak in the back? Like, who are you here
Film
with?
it.
What's going on? My buddy's he's testifying.
We're with him.
Yeah,
wanna see
you
what's going
can.
on.
So court is open to the public
Ooh, there
as
you
long
go,
as it's
Stu.
not juvenile one.
Stu's Raider content. Stu
It's
kills
very
it.
good. I like
So
it a
good.
lot.
His stories. I
Yeah,
could
so-
listen to Stu tell stories all day. Story time with Uncle
Yep.
Stu is the best.
Dylan's referencing a comment here from Stu, one of my Raider content creators, coming into town to the combine in Indy Saturday afternoon, and then the Purdue game that evening. So sounds like a really good day. Just
Stu's,
Dylan just trying to be courteous to our people that are listening.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
read the
Audio.
comment. I just talk about the comment.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't read.
then
People don't know that.
Comment here from
I-
Cody saying fellas are still invited, trying to get the invites out, going through some medical issues. Cody, sorry to hear that.
Love you, Cody.
No
Love
rush
you,
on
Cody.
that, obviously.
Yeah.
What?
Best of luck to you. Hopefully everything plays out well.
Cody is one of the main fellas. Within
He's the only
podcast.
reason I'm here.
We can always count on Cody. Damn it.
All right,
let's
should
dive
we
into
talk,
some
like,
ball.
Purdue
Let's
sports,
let's dive into some ball, gentlemen. To
Hold
some-
on,
hold
some
on,
hold on.
athletics.
Hold on. This last comment by
I-
Stu.
We have a comment here from Stu Schweigert, ladies and gentlemen. Former safety for Purdue, former NFL safety.
Oh my
I may need you
God.
someday in court, Chris.
I got you, brother.
Hey, speaking of cops in Purdue, shout out to the Anthrop boy.
Oh,
Getting the
Danny.
detective over there in Lafayette. Yeah,
Danny Detective. Oh,
Yeah.
that's catchy.
detective.
that
Danny,
on for
I
Dan.
think. Yeah.
Good for
Detective
Danny.
Dan.
We
Stu,
should-
I'll go to war for
Should get
Stu.
him on the show.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Same.
I'll
Stu,
go
I
to
will
the
represent
engineers
you.
for
I am
Stu
in no way credentialed to do so, but I will.
I'll show up
happily do it.
in wearing
Yeah.
this and be like, I am Stu Schweigert's representation.
Danny's a decent human
Dan-
for sure.
Danny is awesome for sure. The comment for Stu praising Danny. congrats, Danny.
Love,
Good
So,
job,
yeah, let's,
buddy.
love you, Stu.
let's talk about some ball. Let's talk about Rutgers. You guys want to start there? It's
Love
kind of where we
talking
left
balls.
off last week.
Rutgers.
That's what we're here to
Rutgers.
talk
I think the
about
main
is
thing
ball.
that sticks out for me about that game is Cam Heidi's performance. Like, yeah, Edie had 25 points, but Cam Heidi 7 for 7 from the floor. I mean,
Yeah, 4-4 from 3, right?
yeah, perfect
Rutgers.
from 3.
Rutro.
Yeah.
Cam
Yeah,
Heidi's good at basketball.
Yeah.
That guy
Yeah,
can shoot.
and I know I've said it on here, but I feel like he could potentially be like the guy. By the time he's a junior, I feel like we're gonna see kind of maybe a Carson progression from him. Like if you guys remember Carson's freshman year, he was like 15-minute per game guy, and you saw flashes. You saw little flashes every now and then, of him doing something really cool.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that from Cam Heidi.
Yep.
That the minutes aren't there, and the scoring opportunities aren't there. He takes them when they're there, and like he was able to capitalize on those against Rutgers. But you see that he's got the things you can't teach. He's got the athleticism, he's got the skill, he's got the size. He's probably the second or third best defender on the team, depending on who you ask and how you measure that. On ball, he's definitely top 3 at least.
Yeah.
I mean, he's unreal. So
I
it's
wish
really
they
nice
gave
to
him
see
high
him.
praise in the coaches show on his defense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think I think the kind of progression is going to be, so obviously Edie's probably going to win another National Player of the Year. And I think Braden slips into that role next year
But
because he's already on the mid-season list this year. I think he's going to be on the preseason watch list or whatever.
Yeah, but he's
And
not even
then-
a top 10 point guard in the
I
country.
know. Yeah.
so-
Right. But I think Braden's going to hold that crown and fight for it and maybe even get it. Who knows? And then I think Cam will be the next one to I really truly think over the next 5 to 8 years, we're going to see a lot of potential Purdue players in that Wooden Award conversation.
So here's
Yeah, I
a
mean,
question for y'all then, since we're good at tangents. What are you guys' top 2 scores? I won't just say top scorer, but top 2 scores next year on the basketball team. What do you guys think?
Oof, Russ, that's a tough question
Ugh.
because all right, I'm gonna go on a little mini ramble here for a second, but
Rumble. He's gonna rumble.
Rumble. I said rumble. I meant ramble. Yeah. But do you remember when we lost the 4 seniors? Right, when we lost PJ, Dakota, Vince, Isaac Haas, and everyone said, "Okay, well, Purdue's losing its core," and that's going to be it. But any 4 of those guys could go off. So, and I think we may just see a reemergence of that. We may see Braden, Fletcher, Cam, TKR. I mean, TKR shown flashes. You've seen flashes from him. You've seen him take over a game when Edie's out. Got a comment here from Boiled Sports. Smith and Catchings. Yeah.
Boiled Sports in the house.
Boiled Sports.
Holy,
in the house.
we got
appreciate that comment.
Dowd,
yeah, I
is
mean,
it you?
Catchings.
Is it you, Dowd? I love you, Dowd.
Catchings. If you didn't see the news today, he's already a projected pick. I think he was projected 15th. Not in this upcoming NBA draft.
22nd, I
the one
thought.
after 22nd.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
22nd. Yeah.
Real quick, Dowd,
Yeah.
if it's you, I'll text you the link if you want to hop on real quick.
Yeah.
But, fire
Put up
emoji.
Stu's comment, the last one, mainly the back half. Have you guys seen the guy who says he's a time traveler, who is 2 for 2 in sports championships, pick Purdue to win the national title?
No, but
Frank,
that's
how's
not
that
shocking at all.
Yeah, how's that for a database, Frank? You're
Yeah.
a statistical guy. How's that for a statistical set? For
I mean, that's
determining a pattern?
that's not enough for me to say it's not chance, honestly. So I won't put any money on that. I would love to see it happen. Don't get me wrong.
I would
but,
say last year
comment
is
from Stu.
impressive.
Stu
If you
believes
picked
it, so.
UConn, going in to the tournament, that's impressive because
Yeah,
if you remember, they're a 4 seed, so they're not even a top 3 seed. So if you got
Mhm.
that right, that's. Who won it the year before that? Was it North Carolina? Right, that was the year that North Carolina with Baycott.
They win it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because they beat Duke in the
No, it was
semifinal,
Kansas.
and then
It was Kansas.
Oh yeah,
who won.
Kansas beat
Was it-
North
oh.
Carolina because
Oh,
North
that's
right,
Carolina
Kansas,
beat
yeah.
Duke.
Yeah.
good call.
But no, to answer your question, Russ, I think that it's a so I want to talk about the Catchings piece and that I'm not sold still on any freshmen, and I'm not knocking on Catchings, but I just think that we're moving into this era with the transfer portal, and it's exaggerated right now because of the the COVID year, but we're moving into this era where freshmen are having the least impact that like I can ever remember. You know, like a lot of people were like saying, "Hey, Purdue's a Final Four team because of Miles Colvin," and we're seeing that hasn't really materialized yet. So like could Catchings come in and be like the leading scorer or one of top 3 scorer for sure, but like I'm not going to hedge my bets on that right now until I see him play.
I just think he's got too many people in front of him.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I did watch an entire game of his over the weekend. He's extremely athletic. He's really, really good. I mean, he's still kind of raw, but like the athleticism is there. He's probably like the most athletic guy we've had since Jaden Ivey, and he actually could probably surpass that. So he's going to be an exciting player to watch for sure. But I mean, Braden's really good. I think he could be that guy. I mean, I think we have like 3 guys, kind of like Arizona. We have like 3 or 4 guys who are going to score, between 12 and 20 each, and that'd be Braden, Fletcher, TKR, just due to their experience, honestly.
I think
silence.
That. Oh damn.
The research department is heavy.
Yeah,
right now.
at task for
The gears are
Stu's
turning.
question.
The gears are turning. Oh, about the combine?
Yeah. So
Stu asked, who does Purdue have in the combine this week? That's a good question. One I would
I
love
just
to know
see
the answer to.
Tyrone Tracy is the
Yep,
only
that's
one
it.
I see on the list.
Yeah, Tyrone, one Purdue player. That seems like
Yeah.
a little bit of disrespect,
A
honestly.
little bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to kind of what we were talking about just now with players and stuff, next year, I mean, I think Braden's going to be a leading scorer. And I think TKR. I think TKR is going to take the 4 spot, and Jacobson's going to take the 5. But TKR is going to
Over
be more
Berg.
experienced. Not that I don't like Berg, and he could prove me wrong 100%. He could really develop through the winter, and that's completely plausible. But I think Berg starts the season in the season starting lineup. Wow, that was hard to say. And
Nailed it.
yeah, I know, right? But I think Jacobson might move his way in there just because I think he's got a little bit more inheritability at the 5 a little bit. But ultimately, I think TKR will have a lot of things run for him because he reminds me with his footwork a lot of Travion in terms of how he moves around, how he moves with the ball, his body fakes, all that type of stuff. But that's just
Yeah, and we really saw it. We really saw some of his footwork against Michigan in the second half. Now, granted, a few of the shots didn't go down. Edie was there to clean it up and put it back. But there was a couple times in that game where I'm like, man, did he really just do that? Like he has a lot of skill that we really just haven't seen yet. And we saw it in the Europe games over the summer. We really saw it there. But when you're on the floor and you're a primary post scorer and you're next to Zach, I mean, it's just going to be hard. But
yeah.
So
and this is under the assumption everyone comes back.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Speaking of a sample size of just 2, we've got 2 decent examples of what it could look like without Edie. And that was when he missed the game last year and then when he got into foul trouble against Illinois this year. What happened those 2 games?
TKR.
So I think he would be my pick to lead the team in scoring. Like if I was making a futures bet, I would pick him number 1 and Braden 2 again. Because
I've seen a lot of the plays that when TKR's on the floor and Edie's off, it seems like we run a lot of the same action with TKR, but it seems like we can do a little bit more athletic stuff. Nothing against Edie, but just it seems like TKR moves a little faster and seems like he can get into a little bit more athletic actions that we can't really see with Edie. Sorry, I interrupted you, Russ.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Because I think with the 4 that we're going to have in the front court next year, with Berg and Jacobson and First and TKR, I think TKR is going to take the lion's share of those minutes, and the other 3 guys are going to kind of rotate in. First is probably second in minutes, and then Berg and Jacobson probably rotate in there somewhere down the line. But that's I think why TKR will lead us in scoring is because he's going to get the lion's share. He's going to be on the floor the most, He's going to be in different combinations with all three of the other guys, but he's just going to be the guy that, Painter's still going to kill the dragon. They're still going to feed the big. And that's how Braden thrives, right? Is with those pick and rolls and with that post presence. So I do think Coffin Wren's going to be the leading scorer. That'd be my guess right now. And then Braden second to him.
And I think sorry.
I want to address Cody's comment here. Telling you guys are going to have a lot of hungry guys fighting for spots next year, and I love it. I agree. I mean, I know that, we're losing some key players. We're losing Edey. We're losing Ethan Morton. We're losing Mason Gillis. And, but I feel like we're still going to have the same problem next season. I mean, it just seems that way.
Just not enough minutes.
Not enough minutes to go around.
And I bet we see some guys redshirt that we don't expect to.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if all but one or two of this incoming class redshirts, to be honest with you. And I just want to address my previous point about catching. Like, I'm not knocking on him. But in my eyes, freshmen are going to have to earn it.
They have to be astronomically off the charts. I feel like, especially with as experienced as this team is, to come in and fight for minutes.
I mean, you've seen how talented Cam Heide is. You've seen how talented at times Colvin has been, and they still struggle to get minutes. Like it's not easy to come into Purdue's system and get playing time.
Yep.
So,
Russ, I don't want to interrupt you here, but I do want to welcome in a guest that we have who just popped in here. So,
gentlemen,
there he is. What's
Look at
up?
that handsome. Look at that. Good to have you down.
It's all about timing, right?
go.
I just flip on the Twitter machine and I'm lucky enough to see you guys. So that was the whole deal tonight.
Well, welcome
Glad
on.
to see you here.
Thank you. I want to apologize too, on behalf of the entire Boiled Sports family. We stepped on your toes a week or two ago with the live feed. We did not intend to do that. We have no schedule during basketball, and so about midway through the show or 20 minutes in, we were like, "Oh shoot, we stepped on you guys." We're totally sorry about that.
I think that's bound to happen, especially with as many pods as there are going around. I think that's just kind of sometimes it happens. It is what it is. Luckily,
There's only 3 good ones. That's the thing.
Well, that's also true.
I'll just let people figure out which ones they are, right?
Yeah.
Hey, and led to some good interaction though. Like the
totally
stepping on the
valid.
toes led to some of the best interaction we guys have had.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. But hey, I want to jump in this conversation. I love the conversation about scoring next year. And I want to add this. I want to sell my idea one more time just to make sure. I know you guys said you had watched a little bit of the OTE, right? Which I can't.
Yeah, it's honestly
I don't
really good.
understand anything. I don't understand how that's legal.
Not good, but the quality of basketball is really, really good. But yeah, the commentary, they were talking about their favorite Jay-Z album, while the guys are playing basketball, and I'm like, that's cool. Like there's a time and a place. Like I'll even chime in that discussion. But
I don't care. But
got a comment here from Stu Schweiger.
I watched the game. It's like they took WWE, NBA, and AAU and shook them in a blender, and I'm like, what's happening here?
I will say the jerseys are wild.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many things visually happening that kind of put you back. You're like, what is going on, right? There's lights and weird jerseys and someone
and a
yelling all
drone.
the
There's a
time
drone
and-
in the game. Which
drone?
why don't we have that in college and pro? Like that's awesome. You have a
I
drone.
mean, the technology is clearly there. Why not? So
Yeah.
But so here's I'm gonna hit on some Purdue Boilermaker emotions here as I sell my idea for the second leading scorer. I think Smith is going to have the leading. We're going to go the point guard being a scoring first point guard, which I hate that model too, to tell you the truth. I really do. And I think Smith actually he's not completely tuned in on it, but I think he might have to do it, right? At least early in the season as guys get into their roles. I also think we could see a different look. I know you guys were talking about going through the center, and that's what Painter's MO is. And you're going to have TKR first, and then 14 feet of man coming off the bench. So we got to take that into account. But I look at the things I look at catchings. Okay, here's what I see, and I think one of you guys said he's got some things that look a little bit like Boogie, right? Which one of you guys said that? Somebody say he looked like Edwards, like his
And
athleticism.
silence.
No, he said
I'll
Ivy.
take the credit. I'll take the
Okay,
credit.
Yeah,
okay. No, so
Ivy,
here's what I
Ivy,
said.
yeah.
Here's-
Let's
Yeah.
compare
It was
him to Ivy,
Ivy.
yeah.
It was Ivy. It was Ivy. So the Ivy athleticism, I see a very an interesting parallel there. His ability to just slither through defenses is incredible. His attitude, though, to me, is a lot like Boogie Edwards, and not like Boogie when he was a freshman, but when he was a junior.
It
Already,
was like,
he's got-
hey, I'm going to shoot it from the logo.
I'm going to shoot it from the logo. I'm going to embarrass you, right?
Yeah.
Boogie loved putting people in their place.
Oh man, the dunk against IU is like the quintessential.
And it wasn't, by the way, we all remember that one, right?
Mhm.
We don't, there's so many others he did that where
Yeah,
you
15 or
remember he
20
would almost
others.
like be an ISO where he'd see a guy and he'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm about to embarrass you.
The one against Virginia Tech. He had
Yes,
one-
yes.
yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good.
That was like his sophomore year, I think. And
Yeah.
like that was kind of like his breakout moment to me. Like after the free throws against, I want to say Michigan that he hit his
Yeah.
freshman year, like that dunk against Virginia Tech was one that kind of, to me, seemed like it set him off.
He had the chip on his shoulder, and Catchings has that same chip. Then he's got Hummel length.
Mhm.
All right. Now that's a good combo. I know he's young, and I think the point of the world moving it's not past or away from freshmen. It's really the age of everybody else, like you guys were
Yeah.
saying, really taking its toll, the physicality of the game, right? And I see that.
Yeah.
I think this guy, though, I think Purdue stole him. It's the most excited I've been about a recruit in forever. When
Really?
I say forever, I mean ever in my life. Like I really
Wow.
mean that. I was at Purdue when Glenn Robinson was there. Okay.
Mhm.
I do not remember the recruitment of Glenn Robinson other than afterwards watching videos of Frank Kendrick talk about recruiting Glenn Robinson because I didn't care.
Right.
But this is a recruit that I think it's an unusual situation. It's similar to Swanigan in that you have a possible one and done,
Yeah.
even in this era. So that's my pitch. I don't know if I'm completely right. I think the crystal ball is a hard thing to do. I think there's going to be one or two unexpected roster changes. I'm not going to get any further into my theory on this because I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be one or two that will change what everybody thinks about how the season will be approached. So we'll see what happens.
I think we talked about in our group chat a couple days ago about Painter flipping the script and going to like kind of like we did after Frank. You'll have to correct me on my years here. I want to say 2017 we had like the most low post shots. 2018 we led the country in like 3-point attempts or something like that, or maybe
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
18 to 19.
So the last year with Haas, we set a record for most post ups in one season, according to Synergy, and then the following we set a record for most threes attempted in the Big Ten.
So I could totally see that flip again because of all the 3-point firepower we have, even though we're losing like Gillis and who's a huge 3-point threat himself. I think the possibility of all those guys coming in. I mean, Painter doesn't recruit bad shooters at the guard spots or even
not
some of the
anymore,
forward
right?
spots.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah. Look,
Not anymore.
we're not going to talk like
That era's
2011 to
gone.
2013. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. Right
But
Well, Dowd, the one thing I saw that honestly impressed me most about Catchings, and the one full game that I saw, because I don't give a lot of merit to highlight reels because they just show all the good stuff, and I wanted to get a feel for like how good of an overall player is he, but it was really his defense at the rim. Like he didn't block a ton of shots, but he was really active in just contesting the shots, getting himself in the right position and going up vertical. I mean, he has a ton of length, like you said. That was probably the thing that impressed me most about him, honestly, was
Do any
how
of you guys know
active he
his
was on the
wingspan?
defensive end.
what's that?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, like he looks like he's well over 7 feet, and he's a 6'9" officially, right? I mean, like that's he's got very long arms, very long arms. And here's the
Allegedly,
thing
he
that I
has
can't wait to see. But this is the fight, right? So on one hand, I can't wait to see him coached by this staff because
Yeah.
I think that he'll make a quantum leap. But the next question is, and I think this is where it gets good. Okay. Next question for many people would be, how receptive will he be to this coaching staff?
Mhm.
And then let's remember, this is the nephew of one of the best female basketball players ever.
Yeah.
This is a guy that has good counsel when it comes to getting to the next level, right?
Being in the system,
Being
understanding
in a
your
system,
role.
exactly. I think those points matter a lot. And
because
I think he's going to be like a sponge.
Yeah.
So this is just it's a guess based on the factors around him. So we'll see.
and like the big thing Paint has always talked about is players coming in being the guy, and now you have to go into I'm 20% of the total product that's on the floor.
Right.
But see, I think that's where a league like Overtime Elite might humble some people, because he's not. I don't know. Maybe he is the guy. I only watched one game, but it wasn't a
He
clear
wasn't
guy
early.
that kind of
He wasn't
out.
early.
Yeah, yeah. But
I will say
apparently
this,
his
I just
wingspan
found-
is 6'11 and a half.
There
From
you
what
go.
I what I
Yeah,
googled.
It's pretty
here.
long. Dowd, isn't
So-
that your wingspan?
Mine's it's 6'10".
Nah, I knew it was
Oh,
close. I knew it was close.
Right. It's
I
right.
knew it
there.
was right there.
Yeah.
That may be a niche.
I get those hugs, the chubbiness and the big long arms.
Dowd
It's
hugs.
mean.
I feel that.
The
Yeah.
boiled sports guys can hug like no other.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
train on that.
You get a niche running at you. Oh, it'll.
It's all
I'll tell
arms,
you,
man.
I know about the long arms. I am kind of chunky and got long arms too. Totally understand. I've ripped out buttons out of every dress shirt I own
Let's go.
because I will stick my arm out and the end of the shirt will be here. And I'm like, well, that sucks.
So Dad, we were for a second talking about the Rutgers game, but what are your thoughts on that game as a whole? Then we kind of segued
Like you
into
said,
this.
you guys were talking
scores,
about
but-
Heidi. It
Yeah.
was, I mean, like, did the quality of play fuel Heidi, or did Heidi fuel the quality of play? Right?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that these two were so synergistic, right? It was a pretty incredible night. The field was amazing.
Yeah.
The way everybody was playing, I think that's the game I was waiting for. I don't know if you guys tune into what I say, but that I've been waiting for the game where everything clicked.
Yeah.
And that's the Purdue, I think, that has the potential to. You remember that Villanova game a couple years
Yep.
ago when Boogie was on the team in the tournament? That had kind of that same magical feel. Now,
Yeah.
can you get one of those in the tournament just for giggles for all of us? I mean, wouldn't it be great? Just one.
Right. Just one.
I mean, it helps that there'll be an Indy for the first two games. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm old enough. Do any of you guys remember when Tony Jones was playing for Purdue and they lost in Indy?
Mhm.
Ugh,
I probably wasn't born, but
Yeah.
woof.
There was like the thing that I liked about it is we went through kind of a little bit of a rough patch there. Like everybody saw the sky was falling and all that type of stuff. And it was good to see us get back home and get home cooking and just everything clicking on all cylinders. Because I think if that game struggles at Rutgers, then we probably continue to struggle through into the next game. For some reason, I can't remember who we played the second game.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Holy crap. Yeah. So for some
Can
reason,
you guys, I struggle with this game, and I talked to Jay about this today on our show. Can you tell me what your theory of what was going on in that game? Because you look
Michigan or Rutgers?
at the Michigan game,
Okay.
because it's a weird one in that Purdue was 10% off their normal pace from three. Okay, and they had that 10 minutes where in the beginning where they couldn't hit anything.
Yeah.
But it looked like they were gonna. It was one of those games where they kind of started clicking, and you're like, okay, they're gonna put them away. And it never happened. They couldn't
Mhm.
create any space in the second half, in spite of fouling out two of Michigan's bigs, in spite of Michigan being down another big.
Yeah.
Purdue still couldn't do it. And I'd like to hear some other theory. I can't figure this game out.
Well, I thought Michigan did a really good job of running good action for Doug McDaniel. So they ran him off of a
Mhm.
lot of get screens. So just like toss the ball and run right off of the screen, and like no one was fast enough to keep up with them. Really, in the second half, there were a lot of defensive breakdowns that just led to open threes. In the first half, they hit a lot of tough threes.
Mhm.
You know, they got some rebounds, and Michigan hit some tough threes. But I think ultimately it came down to Purdue missing some shots. Now Purdue rebounded the hell out of the ball, as you know. But I think that if there's a couple possessions where I can think of where like shot didn't fall, get the rebound, toss up a three, get the rebound, toss up another three, get the other tier. Michigan gets the rebound. Okay, we're done. So it was just missing some good looks and Michigan hitting some tough shots, but also just there were more defensive breakdowns than I would have liked to have seen. But I did go back and watch it with the more analytical eye last night, and that's kind of what I saw.
Rewatching the game, it felt like we just seemed tired. Like we just seemed like we were half a step slow, and mostly on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
And I don't
that's
know-
it right there.
And I don't know if there's a bug going through the program, because I know at our work we've got a bug going through.
Well,
I
it's
don't
happening
know
in
if-
Michigan. They
Yeah,
had
yeah.
that bug.
I don't know if like there's just like a flu bug going through and just Paint's not saying anything about it, but everybody just looked like they were running through sand the whole time.
Mhm.
Well, there was one play where through switching, I think it was the lawyer, and it was in the post guarding. I want to say it was Terrace Reed, and Braden's on George Washington in the corner, and Edie's coming down from the top to basically scram.
Was he in
and
a
get
no-
on to
boat
Reed.
going across the Delaware?
I was
Yeah.
about to say,
But,
what?
but Braden comes from the corner to the opposite block to help double, while Edie's coming from the top to like scram off of him. So
Mhm.
like we basically had 3 guys guarding one guy, and he just made a really good pass for a wide open 3. I mean, there were just a few instances like that. And like there was a couple times where Lance slipped in the first half, and McDaniel got a good look off of that. They had that one illegal screen, which I've blown these guys up several times and said, like, look at this illegal screen, where they kind of faked the flare screen and then went right into a dribble handoff, and Terrace Reed just like fell on top of Lance Jones, who like held him up, and like that should have been called. So it was just like little things like that amounted up. But yeah, I ultimately I was never comfortable in that game. I felt like Purdue could and should have pulled away. It was just a perfect storm. But yeah, I mean, there is some fatigue for sure.
But
Yeah,
that
Will
isn't-
Shedder
The,
looks
the-
like
the fact that
he
I
was
feel this
fatigued.
way, and the fact that I think you guys, it sounds like you guys had a little bit of something was triggered where you're like, huh, right? It tells you how spoiled we are, right? Isn't that the
Right.
big thing?
Absolutely.
100%.
Mercy. It's kind of nice,
definitely
by the way, to
think-
have a Purdue legend just checking in every night. Now and again.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Stu and we are best friends. I mean, we're
Same.
BFFs, really.
That's awesome. That's great.
So the one thing I
Everybody
thought
needs
was
a-
interesting is in the post-game press conference, Painter said that like they played really well, they just weren't hitting shots. And that's where it came into like doing a bunch of the other things like rebounding, stealing, all that stuff. And I think that maybe some of it is just kind of my ignorant eye looking at the game. I'm like, man, we've like played like crap. When Paint comes out and says we play pretty well, because Paint's never really one to pull punches. And if we play like dog crap, he's going to tell us we play like all crap. So I think
the
that
biggest
was a little
takeaway-
reassuring.
I think the biggest thing to take away from that game was it was good to see some shots go in for Fletcher again. Like
Yes.
it was really clear
100%.
that there were a couple sets they ran in the first half that looked like they were designed to get him a look. One, they defended really well. The other, the shot didn't go in. They got him. They found him once on a shake in the first half that didn't go. But when that first shot went in, it was like, all right, like because he seems like a guy who, like, just reading body language. Never met the guy. He just kind of seems like a guy that might get in his own head a little bit. Like he doesn't have that Lance Jones or Carson mentality where it's like, all right, give me another one. He
Yeah.
kind of seems like a guy just purely reading his body language who might be a little more timid, but to see one go in, like that's going to be huge down the stretch because he does stretch the defense, but he needs to make people pay for leaving him open, and he did in that game. And then he had that second shot that went in, but they called a foul on the floor before the shot went up. But
He's got to keep
so it was
shooting,
just
though,
nice to
right?
see
I mean,
that.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. Got to.
I think that's just the classic thing. Shooters got to shoot.
Do you guys think the Thursday night to Sunday night games start taking a toll on us? I don't know. I don't know. I would rather us be more rested, honestly.
Yeah. I think it does to a point, especially when you put Ohio State travel day, come home, play Thursday, travel day, and then go to Michigan. I
Mhm.
think that just kind of adds up on top of, I mean, we forget sometimes that there's still students with homework and crap like that. So I think all
I
of
always
that.
say the girlfriend factor, right? I mean, like, I don't mean to, like, there's just things that happen in life,
Yeah.
like, and it's late in the season, and they're as ready for the tournament as we are too.
Yeah, I 100% believe that. I think they're counting down the games, ready to get to Big Ten time because, like, even though, and that's where people are like, I've had some conversations with some smooth brain individuals that, like, they'll be like, oh, well, you've got to play 2 games in 3 days in the NCAA tournament, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but like the adrenaline of the NCAA tournament and the Big Ten tournament, like that carries you, not the daily grind of going through Big Ten season. I think those are two different aspects.
Yeah, right on. I hope If you play, so if you play a team like FDU 10 times, Purdue wins 9 times, right? I mean, that's the thing that's discounted.
Yeah.
And I think this year the guys are going to be up on their haunches,
Mhm.
regardless of who they play. I think it'll be pretty bloody in the first game. The second game, I don't know the opponent. I don't know what happens the next 3 games. I don't know what happens in the Big Ten tournament. I can tell you that second game already scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very parity heavy year. I mean, there are a lot
Yeah.
of really good teams, and when I look at
But-
the field and I look at teams that are guaranteed to make the tournament at this point, a lot of
No
them are
doubt.
really scary, and a lot of them could go the distance too.
I think
Well,
that
that
in that
8-9 slot is
Oh,
brutal.
I hate it. I
Yeah.
think in that same vein, though, Purdue has not, and I want to say Rothstein or Katz or somebody mentioned it, or maybe it was Jay Wright mentioned that, like, if you talk to Purdue about the FDU loss, like, they own it, like, they accept it, and I feel like they're using it for a positive as a driving force than trying to shy away from it. And I think that shows the maturity of the team in terms of that they're like, yeah, we screwed up, but we're back and we're ready to take it on.
So do you think they go into that first game and think that? Do you think that, like, hey, the mindset is more of like, hey, we got this, or hey, like, a lot of pressure on us, everyone thinks we're going to choke, don't choke, like, or do you think that they're
No,
just
I think
gonna
it's
go in
I don't think it's either of those. I think they go into it absolutely angry. Like,
Yeah, I think they
thinking
prepare for
everything
that.
is disrespect. They're going to hear about FDU those couple of days before. They're going to see videos about it. Zach Edey does not forget that. I mean,
No.
that's the thing. If he has been nails, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
he's so consistent. You see him talking after the games, and I think they come in just absolutely set. Just
I think you see Purdue prep for that game like they're prepared for UConn. I think that they are locked in, focused, ready to go because they know what the worst case scenario is. They lived it.
Mhm. Yeah, I like
I would like to address this comment here.
Tennessee Vol fans coming in here. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, we got a nice comment here from the Evolve Fanatic Show. Would love to see a Tennessee Purdue rematch for the national title this year.
So do we.
That would be
I would not. That terrifies me.
I mean, Purdue kind of owns Tennessee, so
That
Ooh,
is true.
God dang
Get
it,
to the
I had
Dave.
to
Final Four.
say
Get
it.
to the Final
Villain.
Four. I mean, if you're anything like me, you're just gonna. I just talked to a good friend of mine. He was my boss when I was an RA at TARC, and he said, so if they go to the Final Four, you're going to be in Phoenix, right? I said, I've already made plans. My family and I've talked about, like, just to be there around people like you guys, just to be in the city. It sounds weird. I get the rage monster is a problem for me. Anxiety is a problem during games.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what I'd be like in the Final Four.
I'm never like that.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
You
Sounded
definitely
sarcastic.
haven't
I
seen
You
love
our
should
it.
group
see our
chat.
group chat on game days. Good lord.
Yeah, a lot of you guys have heard him say a lot of things that he probably wouldn't say on the stream, I'm sure.
Oh, 1,000,000,000%.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, on our stream, it's always like, especially when it's when I'm feeling really sarcastic. I mean, like, I'll shut Anish and Michael down because they just don't even want to hear it from me because I'm just like so pissed. Like, and so in person it's bad too. I won't watch games with a lot of different people that I really care about. Like it's bad. It's really bad. And so
I've just decided to drink during games. That kind of mellows me
I
out
can
more.
hear Dowd at Ross Aid, and he sits on the opposite end of the stadium. from me, so.
I'm cranking up. No. Yeah. Ultimate
Yeah,
Boiler.
I've often wondered. I've thought a lot about it. Like, if Purdue does get to a Final Four, should I go? Because I was at the Elite Eight game, and I haven't experienced pain like that in my life before or since. Russ was there. Dowd, it wouldn't surprise me if you were
We were there. We were there. Me and my son.
Yeah,
were there.
so it was tough, and like, I mean, so I live in Louisville, and that was the longest drive home ever. I mean, I've
Hey,
gone
Dowd,
back
how
and
do you
tried to
say
rewatch that
Louisville?
game. I can't
Louisville.
do it.
See,
Louisville.
I would say
Louisville.
Louisville in these two games.
You try to say it as guttural as you can, right? Like,
Louisville.
soon
Oh,
there's
Damon's
it's
so
just a
upset.
L.
Damon's so mad he's missing this episode when Dowd's here.
I will say this for the Final Four, I'm not going to be able to go because of work restrictions and planning. But I could only imagine what that place would be like with those dedicated fans going to Phoenix for a Final Four. I'd be bananas.
I'd be more likely to drive up to Mackey for like a watch party in Mackey for that.
I bet there's a watch party
you know,
up in Mackey.
to be around,
100%.
to be around like other fans
Yeah.
and actually like enjoy the atmosphere and not
You can
deal with
still
the
get
traffic in a
arrested
big
there.
city.
It
For
doesn't
sure.
matter. You
Yeah.
can get arrested in either
Yeah.
place. Chris may be the one arresting you. You never know. You never
I'm
know.
probably going to be in the village. I'm
Ah,
going to be honest.
damn.
Probably going to be in the village waiting for it to be stupid.
Waiting for couches to flip and cars to go nuts.
Well,
Oh, no,
we-
no. We're stopping that before it ever gets going.
We loosely
Listen.
have that date marked on the calendar. Like no travel plans, but like
Yeah.
know that some travel plans could come pretty quick. And
Yeah.
I haven't
Spring break
decided if I
ends
can
that
do it.
weekend, and
Oh.
so we were just in a pretty good discussion over dinner yesterday about what to do. We were thinking about going to Tennessee, and my son likes to hike and stuff. Huh? Yeah,
Is that young Dowd?
yeah. That LBD's off screen.
What's
right
up,
now.
LBD?
They say hi.
There he is. What a legend.
He's big deals coming in the next couple days. He's going to
Oh,
make
that's
his,
right.
his
That's
decision. Yep.
right.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
So
Gonna get the hats on the
we might or
table,
might
hold
not
on,
be
guys.
the Boiled Sports might or might not be the main covering media host of the
Ooh,
whole thing.
there you go.
I'd expect
Questions.
nothing less.
All right,
Nice.
yeah, good.
Nice.
But we were talking about going to Tennessee earlier in that week and just kind of taking a quick 3-4 days. And I said this could go from being like a nice cheap spring break to a horribly expensive one.
The
It'd
flipping
be
switch.
awesome, and we'd be broke. Like
Bro,
so. Yeah,
won't be able to eat dinner, but
Yeah.
we're at
Yeah.
the game. It's not
Yeah.
game.
Ramen
We'll be-
noodles for the next
We'll be
month.
eating ramen in Phoenix, but
You guys may
But
go
would you-
hungry.
Yeah.
Would you all take being broke for the next 6 months? And like,
Yes.
I mean, like,
Absolutely.
all right,
Don't-
yeah.
ramen noodles, broke. If it
Hardboard
meant seeing
sign on
Purdue
the
win a
streets,
championship.
dude.
yeah.
Put me
Yeah.
on the streets.
You could have said
I'll sleep
years.
under a
You could have said
bridge.
6 years, not 6 months.
Why do you think I'm prepping to get baby stuff now?
That's true. You got a double duty coming on.
Yeah, don't remind
Oh.
me.
Twins. Look at you.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
It's
One's
awesome.
name is Dylan. The other's name is Frank. And
Those are adorable names.
Yeah.
those are not
Yeah.
their names.
Expecting
Uh,
short bed braces.
No,
thing-
but I'd sleep under. If someone's like Purdue wins a natty, but you have to sleep under the bridge, I'm sleeping under the bridge, dog.
Yeah.
Like I'll get comfy in that bridge.
It's going to be like Chateau Bridge. Like
So there's the
Yeah.
there's the pit in Buffalo where Buffalo fans were jumping in this pit and injuring themselves, but every time
100% I would.
every time they
Shocker.
did, someone would win. So I did ask the question: would you jump in a pit, like break a
Yes.
leg, like you're
Yes,
totally
yes.
fine, you're gonna walk again, but if that meant Purdue would win, like
I'd
yeah,
break both legs. Don't
Yeah.
care.
probably
I'd
would.
break every bone in my body.
Quadriplegic.
twice.
Wouldn't
I would
even give a crap.
I would Johnny Knoxville some stuff, dude. Like I would fight a bull. I mean, I
Yeah,
fight
Cody
horses on a
from
daily
Cody.
basis. A
Cody
bull-
said he would too. So
Yeah.
thank you,
Hi,
Cody.
I'm
We
5
appreciate that
Ghost. Welcome
solidarity.
to
Are we a-
Jackass.
Are we a desperate bunch? Maybe a little, but
Eh,
you know, maybe just
Take
a
it
little.
easy.
What-
By the way, that desperation only gets worse as you get older, gentlemen. So
I'm still young.
Chris
and
has to
straight,
clean
though.
up that carnage. Though.
Cody
Remember,
says
'cause he's
full body
working.
cast me up.
Not
There
if
we
it's
go.
me.
Love it.
But
But one thing we touched on at the beginning, we touched on it briefly at the beginning, but I would like to talk a little bit about Michigan State, guys.
Oh yeah.
Just about
Oh,
that
yeah,
game in
those guys.
general.
Nerds.
So Michigan State's been a very polarizing team in terms of opinions. Ken Palm still has them ranked, I think, in the top 20. A lot of people say they have a bunch of losses, so they can't be in the top 20. However, I think that a team can have quite a few losses and still be a good team. A lot of basketball games come down to like one or two made or missed shots. Like it comes down to like that can be the difference between a win and a loss sometimes. But I think this is a really good team, and I think that this game is going to be a grinder. Always is against Michigan State. At Michigan State at Mackey, we tend to beat them down pretty hard.
Yeah.
But
I think
I'm not
if it was
sure
at
this
Mackey,
game
I'd be
goes that way.
terrified.
If it wasn't in Mackey, you'd be terrified.
If it wasn't in Mackey, I'd be terrified.
Same.
But being at home,
same.
Yeah.
Same.
I
Remember, I mean, a year ago, that was when Edie had 30 plus points. Is that right?
Mhm.
Versus Michigan State last year.
Yeah.
I was at that game. I mean, I feel like we're going to have similar things. I think you're going to have the student section. Their excitement for what they're witnessing is palpable already, right?
Mhm.
I think you'd feel it in that Rutgers game. I think you're going to see it again. I think the players aren't taking anything for granted. And I am not on the same page with you guys on Michigan State. I think there's some intimidation. There's historical intimidation that happens, like with certain colors and certain logos. Like
Yeah.
we get that, right?
Wisconsin and football.
And just
we
the fact
we
you're
did
looking
see
down at
him
a
blow
legend.
out Baylor though. Like they
What'd you say?
they absolutely blew out Baylor though. Like when they're clicking, they look really good.
That's a great.
but
That's
they
a
do.
great one. That's a great.
Yeah.
I
They've
definitely
got, they
think.
got a lot of losses though. Like
So
I just think they're a team that they look like they have not been on the same page very many times this season at all.
And for some reason, Izzo won't play Booker
I-
at all.
Well, he did last
Yeah.
game.
I mean,
Right?
he did.
I
have some
think that
minutes
given what's available with a win in that game,
last year.
Mackey,
Yeah.
the team, the coaches, everybody's going to be just super fired up for that game. Because, I mean, we win that game, it's a share of the Big Ten title, if not an outright Big Ten title, depending on what Illinois does this week.
Right. I hope Purdue's PR people are telling that story a lot too. I'm sure Paint's telling the story. I think
Yeah.
Big Ten championships matter to Paint, and they should.
He talked about it in the coaches show. He was even breaking down that Illinois plays at 1:00 on Saturday, so
Mhm.
they'll know both of their results this week before we even tip off.
That's
So he's very aware.
Yeah. So Frank, what's in your opinion? So I've got one thing that scares me about Michigan State more than anything, because I like the points, but what's the thing that scares you about Michigan State?
Yeah, the thing that scares me about Michigan State is that when Tyson Walker, AJ Hoggard, Malik Hall are all clicking, which hasn't happened a ton this season, but when they are all clicking, they're a terrifying team. Tyson
Mhm.
Walker has been up and down. I mean, Malik Hall is a really dynamic scorer. I mean, the 1-2 punch of Walker and Hoggard. But like, as you made a good point, Madi Sissoko played Edie one-on-one last season, and that didn't go well. Didn't go well at all in East Lansing. So I'll be curious to see what they do defensively to try to make things difficult for Edie. But I mean, Tyson Walker is a guy who's, Boo Buie's given us problems 2 times now, and he is at or maybe better than Boo Buie's level. Boo Buie's been up and down. He's just been on both times we played him. So the guys who can just seemingly go and get their own shot whenever they want it are the kind of, we saw the same thing against with Doug McDaniel this past game. But I just think that, they do have some ugly losses, but they did beat Michigan or Illinois by 8. They played Arizona close, the losing to Wisconsin, Nebraska, Duke. I mean, they don't really have a bad loss. I mean, their worst loss is Ohio State, who's now won 2 in a row. So, I mean, last year we broke Ohio State. Maybe we fixed them this year. I joked about that earlier, but I just think that there's a lot of potential with this team. They haven't been in sync a lot of the time, but I mean, how many times have we seen it where a team just like clicks against Purdue? I mean, it just seems to always happen.
Yeah, but not at home.
Nebraska's the one this year.
Yeah. And that's just my thing though, is like that happens on the road, but it doesn't happen at home. Just because the paint crew and all the fans are just menaces.
It's multifaceted, right? It's not just the paint crew, it's the confidence they put into guys' heads and hearts like Gillis.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Gillis is a completely steely-eyed player.
Yeah.
When he's in
Yeah.
that arena.
He's the most non-emotional human I think I've ever seen in my life.
I think he is so in control right now about staying on task. That's what I think it is. I think he's got boiling rage right beneath the surface. We've seen it a couple times where people have dared to like try to hold on to the ball towards it.
Get into his face or something.
Yeah. It's there still.
Yeah.
But so I agree with you about the things that scare you about Michigan State. We were talking about Walker. Walker specifically scares me. Hoggard to me is a lot like and he's a half step better than Tyrone Johnson, though. He's a guy that never got to where you thought he would get in his career, right? He's shown glimpses of what he could have done, but he never did it, right? But he's not as dynamic as Walker and who's the other one you said? Hall. Both those guys. I mean, Hall's a great athlete, but Hall's another guy, he hasn't bloomed yet. So, but Walker terrifies me. Two guards that are set on scoring should terrify us as Purdue fans. It should terrify Purdue's guards too. And so guys like Jones should be ready.
Yeah, I think I'm just conditioned to not take any Big Ten team lightly these days. I mean, especially with Penn State, with beating Illinois and then Indiana for the second time, Indiana beating Wisconsin tonight. I mean, it's there's no team you can overlook given their record, but there's a lot of potential in this team. They just hasn't materialized yet. And the Xavier Booker mystery is, as you mentioned, is just that. It's a mystery. I mean, and Cohen Carr is really athletic, but like he doesn't contribute a ton to the game, in my opinion. Like he has a bunch of highlight reel, like really cool dunks, but he's not like a meaningful contributor. So I'm not necessarily concerned about him. But Jaden Akins is a guy we haven't mentioned either. I mean, he's shooting 38%, 143 attempts this season. So high volume, pretty good percentage. So, and how many times have we seen, like we hear it said like, oh, this is the fourth three in this guy's career, or the first three in this guy's career against Purdue. But
Always tough.
he's a guy that
Never
could
fails.
go off as well.
I
So
think that it is a Fletcher Lawyer game. I think it is.
Hopefully.
It is
you think he
time.
rides that?
I
he
do.
rides
I
what we
think he.
saw? Yeah.
I think that he loves feeding off that momentum of crowd, and if you look at the big games we've played, he always seems like he steps up and does well.
He loved feeding off the Izzone last year. That was when he had 8 of the last 10 points and then assisted Edie on the game winner.
Yeah.
It'd be super fun
Yeah, but
for
like-
just to see him find some any rhythm.
Like passing the ball to Edie and having him score almost shouldn't count as an assist, in my opinion.
Right.
You just like give the ball to an open Edie and let him do his thing. I mean, it does, but like
Kansas lost to BYU at home.
yeah,
they
BYU is very scary. So
At home, Kansas hasn't lost in a while.
Yeah.
It'll lose much
that's
too.
a scary game. But
At
so Ken Palm actually predicts a 10-point win for Purdue with 79% confidence. So looking pretty good there. But
It's tight. That's tight for some of the predictions of late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's anything could happen. Ken Palm predicts 3 Purdue wins to close out the season, a 1-point win over Illinois and a 10-point win at home against Wisconsin. But it would just be really, really nice to be able to secure a share of the title against Michigan State, because the last thing you want to do is have to go to Champaign to play for that. I mean, that becomes a lot scarier. And you're right. Painter does care about Big Ten. The players care about the Big Ten title. They do.
Yeah. Because
I mean,
it's a
real
check
thing.
upward, right? It's Big Ten title, #1 seed. This, it's the simple things, right?
The question mark is the Big Ten tournament. I mean, how much do players and whatnot care about the Big Ten tournament? I honestly don't know.
I would
just
like
hate the fact that it ends right before the selection show.
Yeah.
Like Big Ten tournament ends right into selection, and then you're basically on the road. Painter talked about that in the John Rothstein interview. It was really good, really good.
It'd be nice to see that get moved to a Saturday championship game.
You basically have like 24 hours, and then you start travel. Like so something needs to change there, in my opinion. I'm sure something will, but yeah.
But I'll be honest, like, is it better because you don't have to let guys think about it? They don't, they're just in that.
I mean, I
mode,
think
they're just going
given
and going.
I think it's 26 Big Ten teams have made the last 3 tournaments, and I think 3 have gotten out of the first weekend. So I don't know.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know.
but I mean, you look at it. Who else ends on Sunday? I think the Big 12, the ACC.
I'll say this much:
Big East.
the Indy pairings or the Indy region is a Friday Sunday region, so we'll be playing Friday, so we'll have that extra day this year.
And being an hour from home.
Yeah, I don't know. Code just seemed to be mixed on that, according to John Rothstein. Is it a distraction, or is it does it help you? But I think in Purdue's case, they're gonna thrive off of it for sure. SEC also ends on Sunday from our friend the Vol
thank you, Vol.
Fanatics. Hey, Vol, I got a question for you. How do you feel like Dalton Connect stacks up in the Player of the Year discussion? I had an interesting discussion on a social media platform earlier this week about that. Just would love to get your thoughts on that. So
I think if it's a year that if Edie wasn't in, he'd probably run away with it. I
agree.
I really like his style. I like his gameplay. His ball handling's really good. He shoots it well. He is very much a captain.
Talking about Braden or Dalton?
Dalton.
Yeah, he didn't have a great game against Purdue, but overall he's a really good player.
Most don't though.
He's gonna have a long NBA career. But one thing I want to say about Braden, we talked about this the other day. we went back and watched some of the film of Trevion, and it's just amazing to see how good of a passer he is. And at the time, you almost got desensitized to it. You know, you were so used to seeing him make some crazy passes and seeing some really cool actions we ran to get him to pass the ball, that it was just like it didn't seem all that cool. And now you go back and watch it and you're like, man, what a great player he's. A bit like when we watch Braden, try not to take it for granted, because Painter used the term basketball savant earlier this season, and like I really see it in his game, like his decision making, his knack for the game, his IQ is just at a level that we really haven't seen in a long time. So just don't like cherish that, and cherish Edie as well. Like just cherish, like, because there's really only 6 weeks, at most 6 weeks left that we're going to be able to.
You guys mentioned that Braden Smith is going to get the single season assist record this year. It's not being talked about, right? That's right. Such a big deal. And if you look at why he does it, obviously Edie, like you said, maybe an assist to Edie shouldn't count for but half. But Smith does things like when he was trolling that baseline versus Michigan, all he's doing is waiting for the offense to set up, and he knows where everyone should be. He's like a really good offensive lineman or a quarterback, in that he's like, okay, everybody's got an assigned place. I'm going to wait for them to get there, and then I'm going to find them, and I'm going to have it throw it to that spot. And sometimes you'll see him just get flat out pissed, right? When that guy's not there and he throws it, and he gets the turnover, right?
Yeah.
So
I
ultimately think that he won't lead us in scoring next year. I think that's too big of a strength for our team that he can't get away from that. I think he'll still be our second leading scorer, but I think he's got to have that TKR or somebody is going to be to take the scoring lead, but he's got to be that guy that continues to do that the next 2 years.
So
I'd love to see TKR take that next step. The problem that, I mean, he's got to take a pretty significant step in his mentality, I think, right? Because he's been second fiddle, and even when Edie was playing second fiddle to Trevion, right, when they were splitting time, you still saw a guy that came in and he just absolutely attacked, right? Yeah. Even though he didn't have the ability that he has right now, and he wasn't physically quite there. So TKR, we saw him get bigger and stronger, which he didn't really need to. He's an absolute Hulk, right? But the mentality, I think, has to change for him to be.
That's a little bit different with Trevion and Edie, though. They split time. Like, they didn't exactly play a lot together. They each played like 19, 22 minutes. Yeah. So I'd say that's a little bit. But like I was telling them, the times that you've seen Edie not be there, which is very rare, TKR has been a 20-point scorer both times, right? When Edie missed, and then when Edie was in foul trouble against Illinois. So I think he's very close. I think he could be the guy next year.
Yeah.
I think that the thing that really sold me on the basketball savant thing was it last year against Duke in the PK 85, where the ball's like going out of bounds and he like tips it back or something. Frank, you know what I'm talking about, where they've got like 8 seconds left on the shot clock or something, and he tips it back and it ends up going all the way out on the other end of the.
Oh yeah. Versus trying to make just a big play.
Yeah. It was like a super 200 IQ type play where he's just thinking he's playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers.
And I've said it on here, and I started to feel like I was crazy until PJ confirmed what I was thinking. But he reminds me of Luka Doncic, but he's not 6'7", he's not Slovenian, but he's neither of those things. But his poise, his pass making, his court vision, like he's so calm. When you blitz him, like if you blitz him off of a ball screen, he's just going to drag that out. He's just going to be patient. He's going to wait for that guy to lift and just like make the easy pass, or he'll make the crazy cross court skip pass as well. But I don't know how you defend him. You play drop coverage, he's gonna take that mid range and he's probably going to hit it. You double team him, he's going to pass out. I mean, he's going to make you pay no matter what you do. And I just think that like we shouldn't get into a lull where we just see like accept that as a normal thing, because he's a
Did you guys see the pass he made to TKR versus Michigan, where TKR had done a great job getting position, but Smith's man had kind of cut the angle off for the pass, and TKR had gotten position where there was a window that was about 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
And he threw a ball with spin and threw it right at the shoelaces for TKR, and TKR gets it and he turns and I think he had a dunk. Like it was right there.
It was
like an inch off the ground, right?
Yes.
It was
It was a beauty. And that understanding of angles again, man, that matters.
Yeah,
fun
it was. I didn't see it in real time, but I went back and rewatched it. I was like, "How did I miss that?" And then he had the laser beam to Lance in transition too.
Yeah.
That
Was awesome.
That was
From right to
extremely
left, that
high
was a great
risk,
pass.
but yeah, I mean, he's a high risk, high reward. But we're seeing that like his assist numbers are really high, and his turnover numbers are about the same in terms of percentage. But if he can double his assist percentage and keep his turnover percentage where it is, I'm cool with that. I'm cool. And like you said, about a third to a half of his turnovers. It's the player he's passing it to not being in position more so than him making a bad pass. So, I agree with you on that front.
Yeah. The Vol fan said he'd give Edie the NPOY.
Spell his name right.
So would everyone.
He did say so. That the official answer was if you're going off of stats, it's got to be Edie. But if you're going off of versatility, it goes to Connects. Yeah.
I think Connect's an impressive player. I just think
definitely.
It's like you guys said, it's bad timing, right? You're behind one of the most dominant players in the last most dominant player since Tim Duncan is who I think.
Yeah.
Is he gonna leave?
Yeah. Tim Duncan,
not Tim Duncan.
Connect, I think Connect. That's what you're asking about. I think he's a projected top 10 pick, I believe.
Oh yeah, he's a transfer. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I would assume he's going. Yeah. Yeah, the
guys,
argument
I have to duck out. I apologize. But,
thanks.
Dad,
Thank you
you're
so
the
much
man. We appreciate you coming.
Thanks for including me. Thanks for hospitality.
You are welcome on whenever.
Yep.
We'll get J Money. We'll get a niche in here.
It'll be the Octo box of freaking podcasters.
Take over the Purdue podcasting world. Damn.
Let's go
to the moon,
all right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Oh, Dad, did you notice my commercial placement?
Yeah, well done. Well played.
Yeah.
Right.
Ginger ale. Going hard tonight.
See you, man.
See you, dude. Appreciate it.
So
I love Dad.
The argument that was presented to me was that Connect deserves the award because he is shorter than Zach Edey.
Methamphetamine.
Shocker.
Yeah.
It's a height-based award again now.
I don't know. I just thought that was. I was like,
Braden Smith would get it if he was taller. So let's just give it to him then.
I just thought that was fast. I mean, and like this notion, it's like, well, Zach Edey wouldn't be good if he wasn't 7'4". Well, if he wasn't 7'4", he wouldn't have developed the skill set of a post player. So like, you're 7'4". That's the skill set you're probably going to primarily develop.
Yeah.
So like, there
I
are
also
guys
have
like
a comment about my aunt, but I shared that last week, so I won't do it now.
I set you up for that one. That was on.
You did. That was good. All right, I think it's about wrap up time, boys.
Yeah, I think it is.
We've been getting after it.
Appreciate Dowd coming on. That's awesome.
Dude, that was great.
Yeah, thank you.
Some of my favorite people are there at the Boyle Sports. There it is.
Great guys for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Love them.
All right,
boys.
Russ, you want to send us out?
I'm sure I don't really have a good send out, but appreciate y'all joining us this week.
See you, homies.
Thanks to Martin Vintage, CBB Analytics, and Blitzboards, Cincy Blitzboards. We'll see y'all.
Let's get the dub against Michigan State.
Yes, sir.
What? Sure.